praises Israel, back again with another video for edification purposes. And today's video is probably going to be entitled W.H.O prophesies, or W.H.O has something on the lines of him telling, prophecies that have already been foretold within the scriptures. And today I was given an article, and this was published on the 4th of May 2020, so just last week, and it says, watch W.H.O Uncensored, the Fake Pandemic and Hunger Games Society. Now, little disclaimer for this video: in no way, shape, or form am I saying that, or what I'm about to read, this has nothing to do with what I think or feel. I am just reading an article, okay? But the scriptures are very real, okay? We all know that, all right? The scriptures are very real, but just a little disclaimer: I'm not in any way, shape, or form am saying that the pandemic is real or fake, because we already know who's in charge of it all anyway, and that's the Most High, W.H.O. And with that, I want to start off this video by saying, giving honor and glory and all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who I have been getting my teachings and edifications from. And when I say shalom to the hopefully elect scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth. Without further ado, let's get into it. So it says here in the article, watch W.H.O Uncensored, the Fake Pandemic and Hunger Games Society. And it says here, as the coronavirus pandemic initially gripped the entire world, W.H.O appeared as a guest on London Real in an interview that was quickly banned by YouTube at the behest of the BBC. Salakia. What could be so dangerous about the speech of an aging conspiracy theorist, as they call him? After an enormous public show of support for David, Brian Rose of London Real reached out to the world for support of a live stream, conversation with Icke that will serve as proof that we the people can still share the message of truth with the world, defying official efforts to censor information. Icke's recent live stream interview with Rose was recorded on May 3rd and is available for viewing on independent platforms, including BitChute. The message is critical right now because Icke logically and thoughtful deconstructs the rapidly moving plans to enslave the world with fear of COVID-19 and untimely create a Hunger Games society where people are completely dependent on the state for survival. Here are a few of powerful quotes from the interview on one of the bigger reasons for the lockdowns. Now, as I read this, again, I want to say this is based off W.H.O giving his own assertion to what he think is going on in the pandemic. I'm not making any claims of this coming from me, or, I'm not saying that the pandemic is fake or why so-and-so is doing what. I'm strictly reading what the interview has said. And this is coming from W.H.O. It says here, this fake pandemic has been employed for many reasons, but profoundly right in there is to have a lockdown of business, particularly small business, which in vast numbers will not survive. The big people can, to have a lockdown long enough to destroy the independent livelihood of vast numbers of the human population. What they're going to do is they're going to keep this going until they reach the point where they think we've now reached a situation where we transformed human society. We have destroyed the independent livelihood of enormous numbers of people, and it's irreversible. And that's why, Salakia, that's what they're holding on to. And what you're going to see is some of it rolled back, as little as they can get away with. And then they're planning new waves of the virus. And then they will bring lockdown back. W.H.O. On using fear to control. Once you trigger the survival mechanism, then all rational thought disappears. Because the only thing I must survive, and so if I must survive by staying in my house and seeing my whole life disappear, then I must. And by the way, if it will help me to survive, then I will agree to any level of draconian imposition as long as I think it will help me survive. This is the survival mechanism. On creating massive social dependency on the government. The plan is this Hunger Games society is to create mass dependency by giving people with no other form of income by then what is called a guaranteed income. And it will be a pittance, survival level. But that guaranteed income will come with strings. You get the guaranteed income, but you do what the state says, or you don't get it. All right. And that was just a little bit of what W.H.O spoke about during the interview on the show. And I will put the link to this article, okay, so that you guys can check it out. And if you want to go watch the interview, I'll provide the link from the article where you can, within the article, where you can go and watch that video for yourselves. But let's pull some scriptures. We're going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. It says here, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So what we have to establish, here being the status quo of that interview, if I can break it down, is the fact that, let's say, if what W.H.O is saying to be true, because I know I'm going to have a lot of listeners watching in on this video, and people are going to know of it to be true, and others are going to call it, again, conspiracy theory, whatever the case may be. Hey, you got to understand something. The whole ideal of Esau is his only goal is to control the entire world, and he's not going to stop at nothing. Okay, his heart waxed cold, as the scripture says. And not only that, he's not going to stop at nothing. Okay, and this scripture is playing here because unless he should get an advantage of us, which majority of the population of the planet he's already got an advantage of, because they are already ignorant to his devices. And how they ignorant to his devices? They're ignorant because they are following all orders by staying indoors. Their God-given right has been taken away in terms of being able to walk outside, being able to go around the beach, okay, where you have sand, the sea, where there's minerals within that stuff, okay, being against their will, where they have to social distance from each other, and things like that. You're saying that, when you step out, you have to, social distance and keep almost 6 feet apart from someone. OK, but God forbid you come home, you're around your husband, your wife or whatever. You want to knock some boots. You just go straight in. Where's the logic in that? You know what I mean? Like when you really sit down and think about it, and, I'm not trying to have a laugh, because I'm not trying to, say that it's all fun and games, because we close to the time of Jacob's trouble. It ain't gonna be all fun and games where all hell breaks loose. But for the sake of saying, you got majority of the people in this planet are already ignorant to the devices, because they don't see what's going on, not only behind closed doors, but they have stumbling blocks placed upon them. Okay. They got stumbling blocks placed upon them because they don't know that the world is in the hands of the most sick, twisted, wicked nation of all people, and that's Esau. Let's get a precept to that. Let's go to Let's go to Job chapter 9. You already know where I'm going. This is the book of Job chapter 9, verse 24. And it says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So you got Esau working behind the scenes, which is your top elites that are playing this little game, and they're implemented their instruments of devices to crack down because they know that they have a short time. OK, they know that they got nothing but a short time to wrap this up so that they can get everyone on the same page. Because you got to remember, a lot of the elites, the top elites, they're old. So before they die, they're trying to get with all their last little bit of strength to get this show on the road so they can see it before they go to their grave. And mark my words, it's going to happen. OK, I'm not going to make this too long, man. I'm going to shorten up. But let's go to the book of Revelation. Revelation 12:12. And it says here, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe, meaning destruction, to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down onto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. And that's Esau right now. Esau is livid. He pulling out all the stops. OK, you saw what happened at the beginning of the year, and it started to trickle down. And look where we are now. We're 5 months into the year 2020, and look at what's been taking place. OK, now there are certain countries where they are starting to ease back on the restrictions, but that's just another tactic to the device. That's what you call gradualism, which means that you take a little bit, you give, you take, you give. You set it up to where you're building, right? Small steps to the overall scheme of things of what's to come. That's gradualism in a nutshell. And you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're going to be the first in line when this chip comes out, because they're going to light you niggas up. Jake is not prepared for what's about to go down, because the time is now. We are there. We ain't close to knocking on the door. We're already there knocking on the door. The door just ain't open yet to where all hell is broken loose, but it's going to open. We're already there at the door of Jacob's trouble. And Esau knows he's out of time. You know, Esau knows he's out of time. That's why he's speeding up the process. That's why what was it the other day? Donald Trump and his whole team said that they've implemented a speed up of operations or whatever to get this vaccine show on the road. So there's proof in the pudding, man. He's speeding up the process. This thing can go either way, but no, whichever way it goes, it's about to go down. And I want to close out on Psalms chapter 64, and I'm going to start at verse 1. And this is a song by David. It says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O God, the Most High, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Who's the enemy? We know who the enemy is, man. Verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Verse 3. Who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. What's going on right now in the White House? You know, Trump is doing all kind of things, man. He don't care. But the perfect candidate to lead, that country into destruction. OK, verse 4. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And that's exactly what they're doing. OK, that's exactly what they're doing. And what did David Icke say? They are playing the Hunger Games scenario to tap in to the survival mode. Because once they get you in a state where you need to depend on them, they've won. They've already got you. But you're not going to know because you become ignorant to their devices. You understand? You become ignorant to their devices. Verse 6, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. So no matter what, Esau will not stop at nothing until he has the vast majority of the globe, everyone chipped. Everyone is going to be traced. Everyone is going to be tracked. There's not a damn thing not anyone can do about it, but he won't get too far because we already know what the end game is. You understand? We already know what the end game is because wisdom will be the stability of thy times. Let's get that. This is Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord W.H.O is his treasure. So at the end of it all, this is wisdom, understanding what's about to go down, understanding the words of the Most High, doing the will of the Father, having faith, getting your spirit right, because in the time of that last temptation hour, we need not to take thought or what we're going to say or do. And this is the wisdom and the knowledge. You understand? It is the wisdom and the knowledge that shall be the stability of thy time. So if you're not in the right spirit, it's because, again, your faith is not in the right place and you can pray. Pray for yourself. Pray that, your faith continues to build on a daily process. Fast, practice fasting. I know I'll put myself out there. I'm having a hard time with dealing with that. And it's hard, especially when you're working and you're around people and you're around the wrong energies. You're around, different people who are not on the same wavelength as you, but we all have to strive. This is part of our grace period. We all have to be a living sacrifice. OK, we all gotta be a living sacrifice to this truth. All right. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this video. I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of that interview by Icke. Again, I'll leave the link in the description so you guys can check that out. I hope you brothers and sisters was sincerely edified by this video. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Peace, Israel.